Hi, my name is Sean, and I'm often asked how it is that I became a business consultant. For a lot of my career, I worked as an accountant and a controller and an operations manager. So I learned a lot about business and I really enjoyed it. Worked with a lot of great people, learned some great lessons about business and how to get started and some of those early little pitfalls that sometimes happen. And I found that people would often ask me, Sean, how do I do this? And they'd say, everything from how do I register my business with the state, or what about these accounting questions, and how do you set up bank accounts for businesses, and simple things, but to them were kind of challenging. And so I would find myself helping people, and I really enjoyed that part of it. And so over the years, I started consulting a little bit more, just kind of as a side gig, and helping people with their businesses and whatnot. And then I started doing it more and more and found myself really wanting to do that as my career. And then a couple of years ago, a friend introduced me to the Gallup Clifton Strengths or Strengths Finder assessment. And I was amazed at how accurately it described me. And even though I learned a lot about myself, it also just kind of revealed some things about me that I knew, but didn't realize that they were talents and strengths of mine. And so I found myself wanting to do that even more. And I really enjoyed learning about myself, but I also enjoyed helping other people learn about themselves. So I really started diving into this Gallup's Clifton Strengths Assessment. And I started talking to people at Gallup. I was reading articles, reading books, just couldn't get enough about how they came up with this. And before too long, I became a Gallup certified strengths coach. And it was really that was kind of the turning point. That's where I started really diving in to helping people with their strengths and working with teams and with leaders to help them understand themselves better and how to really engage people. It was also really invigorating for me to see the light bulbs that often would come on in the minds of people as they were learning about themselves and kind of going, oh, that's why I do what I do. And I remember one experience especially, it was actually a husband and wife, and even though I wasn't necessarily doing marriage counseling of any kind, but I was talking to each of them about their strengths, and they started laughing. And I finally just kind of said, well, what's going on? And they said, well, now I understand why he does this. And he was kind of saying, this is now I understand why my wife says this, or this is why she works with the kids the way that she does. And the little light bulbs were just kind of going off. And that kind of stuff happens all the time. When I work with teams and I work with individuals, it is really exciting to me to see them recognize in themselves where they have talent and ability and strength, and to see those little light bulbs go on that says, oh, this is why I think about the way I do, and this is why I approach things the way I do. And what's really neat is to see them use that in a workplace environment, which is where my passion is. It's in business and in the workplace and helping people get more out of their work. I had another experience where I was working with a team, and I was asking them to share stories about when they saw and could identify a talent of theirs based on this assessment and kind of a real world experience. And we went all the way around the room, and we got to the last lady because she had asked to be skipped. She wanted to go last. Well, we got back to her, and she kind of just said, I don't really know of an example. I can't think of one. And the other team members all jumped in, and they just said, well, don't you remember just last week when you said this? This is that talent that came out. And it was a really powerful experience because she actually started to tear up a little bit. She was actually getting a little bit emotional because she just said, I didn't realize, I can't see those. It's just kind of the way I am. And it was a really emotional moment for the entire team. And it was a bonding moment for them, but more than anything for her, it was just really a way for her to recognize, this is how I contribute. This is how I help the team, and this is what I'm doing. And it was such a great moment, and it was rewarding for me to help play a small part, at least, at helping them see that within themselves. So to me, there's no question that over the last couple of years, as I've tried to engage more teams and I've tried to help them see that Clifton Strengths Assessment has really been a turning point for me. It probably sounds a little dramatic, and maybe it is, but for me, it really did change my life. It changed my direction. It's kind of a lane shift on what I was going to do with consulting and what I'm doing now. And it's something that I just love way more than I ever thought I would, simply because I love working with people and seeing them recognize their own talents and ability. In fact, I'm teaching a class now. It's a master class, Entering the Strength Zone, and it teaches people how to not only identify their strengths, but really how to use them and to activate them is kind of the word that we use, how to activate those strengths and help them to get more out of what they're looking for. Have you ever had a job interview, or maybe it was a promotion opportunity, or you're getting interviewed by a boss or somebody, and they ask you a question, what do you think some of your strengths are? And have you ever struggled to answer that question? That's another great way for this assessment and the class to help a person understand what their strengths are and how they can use them in a real world working relationship. So if you're that type of person, or maybe if you're just a salesperson that wants to learn how to sell better, or if you're a leader that wants to develop their own leadership style and learn how they really lead teams better, then these are opportunities with this assessment and the masterclass to really learn how to develop those into strengths that you can use confidently, so that next time you're asked that question, what are some of your strengths, you know how to answer it, and you can provide real world examples on how you use those talents and strengths. So that's a little bit of why I do what I do. That's why I'm a business consultant working with teams and individuals. That's kind of the why behind my mission. Well, thanks for watching, and best wishes for every success in everything that you're doing. Thanks.